The bustling market was alive with the hum of conversation, the shuffle of hurried feet, and the distant clanging of metal pans. Rows of vendors displayed their goods, their tables a mosaic of vibrant colors, ripe tomatoes, gleaming apples, and handmade trinkets. Amid the cacophony of voices and scents, a boy named Liam meandered through the stalls. With shaggy brown hair and a backpack slung over his shoulder, Liam didn't particularly enjoy these outings. He came because his mother insisted it was important to experience the world beyond the walls of their cozy home. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. Liam was walking past a narrow alley when a faint, pitiful whimper caught his attention. It was a sound so soft it could have been swallowed by the market's noise, but to Liam's ears, it pierced through everything else. His curiosity piqued. He turned toward the sound and ventured down the alley. What he saw made his heart sink. A dog no more than skin and bones lay tethered to a wooden post. Its fur, matted and filthy, barely concealed the rib cage protruding beneath. The dog's eyes, deep pools of amber, held a mixture of fear and resignation. It didn't bark or growl. It simply lay there, as though it had accepted that kindness was a foreign concept in its world. A gruff voice startled Liam out of his thoughts. "Interested in the mutt, boy?" A burly man leaned against the alley wall, his arms crossed, and a sneer plastered across his face. "Why's it tied up like that?" Liam asked, his voice quivering with a mix of anger and sadness. The man shrugged. "Nobody wants it. Useless thing. Doesn't bark, doesn't play, just lays there. Figured I'd sell it off, but nobody's bit yet. Might as well put it out of its misery soon." The casual cruelty in the man's words ignited something fierce in Liam. Without a second thought, he pulled out the few crumpled bills his mother had given him for snacks. "How much for the dog?" he demanded. The man raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. "That scrap? $5 and it's yours." Liam handed over the money and bent down to untie the dog. Its collar was so tight that he struggled for a moment, finally managing to free it. The dog didn't resist, didn't flinch, but when Liam reached out to stroke its head, it looked up at him with those haunting eyes. Something unspoken passed between them, and Liam whispered, "You're coming home with me." He carried the dog back to the main street, ignoring the curious stares of passers-by. It was heavier than he expected, but he didn't care. As soon as he reached home, he announced his arrival. "Mom, I need some help," he called, carefully setting the dog down on the kitchen floor. Liam's mother emerged from the living room, her eyes widening at the sight of the bedraggled animal. "Liam, where did you—" "I couldn't leave him there," Liam interrupted. "He was starving and tied up. Please, Mom, we have to help him." His mother hesitated for a moment, then sighed. "All right, but this is your responsibility. You'll have to take care of him." Relief washed over Liam as he nodded eagerly. He wasted no time filling a bowl with water and rummaging through the pantry for anything remotely suitable for a dog. The animal lapped up the water greedily but was too weak to eat much. Liam spent the rest of the day cleaning it up, cutting away mats of fur and gently washing away the grime. He decided to name the dog Shadow, a nod to its dark fur that now shone faintly after the bath. Over the next few weeks, Shadow's transformation was nothing short of miraculous. With regular meals and plenty of rest, the dog gained weight and energy. Liam noticed that Shadow was unusually quiet. He never barked, not even when startled, but he had a gentle demeanor that quickly won over the family. One evening, as Liam sat in the yard tossing a ball, Shadow finally showed a spark of playfulness. The dog trotted after the ball, its tail wagging tentatively. Liam laughed, a sound of pure joy, and called out, "Good boy, Shadow!" For the first time, Shadow seemed to trust that he was safe. But the most astonishing change came a few months later. Liam was walking Shadow through the park when they stumbled upon a chaotic scene. A small child had wandered too close to the edge of the lake, and in a split second, the child slipped and fell into the water. The toddler's mother screamed, rushing toward the lake but clearly unable to swim. Bystanders froze, unsure of what to do. Without hesitation, Shadow bolted. The dog dove into the water with surprising agility, paddling toward the struggling child. Liam watched in awe as Shadow reached the toddler, grabbed the back of the child's shirt gently in his jaws, and began towing him back to shore. The entire park seemed to hold its breath until Shadow emerged from the water, the child safe and coughing, but otherwise unharmed. The mother scooped up her child, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she sobbed, addressing Liam and Shadow. "Thank you so much!" Liam knelt beside Shadow, who was soaking wet but wagging his tail as though nothing extraordinary had happened. He scratched behind the dog's ears and whispered, "You're a hero, Shadow." News of Shadow's bravery spread quickly. The local newspaper ran a story about the rescue, and soon people in the community began approaching Liam to congratulate him and Shadow. Strangers who had once ignored the boy and his scruffy dog now smiled warmly and stopped to chat. But Shadow didn't let the attention go to his head. He remained the same quiet, gentle companion he had always been, content to lie by Liam's side or play fetch in the yard. Liam often wondered what Shadow's life had been like before they met. Had he been abused, abandoned, or simply overlooked? Whatever the case, Liam was determined that Shadow would never feel unloved again. One evening, as Liam and Shadow lounged on the porch, Liam's mother brought out a tray of lemonade. "You know," she said, sitting beside them, "Shadow has changed you too." "What do you mean?" Liam asked, stroking Shadow's soft fur. "You've become more confident, more compassionate," his mother said. "And I think it's because you've learned what it means to truly care for someone." Liam smiled, realizing she was right. Shadow had taught him patience, responsibility, and the profound joy of seeing another creature thrive under his care. They had saved each other in different ways. Years later, as Liam prepared to leave for college, he looked at Shadow, now a little grayer around the muzzle but still full of life. "You're coming with me," he said firmly. There was no question in his mind. Shadow had been there for every important moment of his life, and he couldn't imagine a future without his loyal companion by his side. The boy who had once wandered through a noisy market had found more than a dog that day. He had found a friend, a hero, and a reminder that even the most overlooked souls can shine brilliantly when given the chance. And Shadow, the unloved dog who had once been tethered and forgotten, had found a family and a purpose, a life worth living. As the years passed, Liam and Shadow's bond only deepened. Shadow, once a quiet and fearful dog, had grown into a confident companion, always by Liam's side, whether he was studying late into the night or walking through the park. Liam often marveled at how the dog had become a cornerstone of his life, a constant reminder of the power of compassion and second chances. When Liam eventually moved into his own apartment after college, Shadow followed him with a quiet, steadfast loyalty. The small, cramped space seemed to grow brighter with the dog's presence, as if Shadow had brought with him a sense of purpose. People who met Shadow were drawn to his calm nature, and some even asked if they could adopt a dog like him. But Liam knew that no other dog could ever replace Shadow, who had taught him the value of selflessness. Shadow, in return, had always known that the boy who saved him from the market was the one who had given him a second shot at life. They were more than just owner and pet. They were kindred spirits, their lives forever intertwined by an unspoken understanding, built on love, trust, and the shared knowledge that they had both been rescued in different ways at just the right time. As the years continued, Shadow's health began to slow. His once energetic movements became more deliberate, and his coat, though still shiny, began to show the signs of aging. Liam noticed the changes more each day, but he refused to let it dampen the joy they shared. He began to spend even more time with Shadow, taking him on slow walks through the neighborhood, letting the dog savor every new scent as they strolled side by side. Liam's friends would often ask about Shadow, remembering him as the dog who had saved a life. "You're lucky to have him," they would say. But Liam didn't feel lucky. He felt grateful. He had always been the one to receive more than he could ever give back. Shadow had taught him how to love without hesitation, how to care deeply, and how to never give up on something that seemed hopeless. One afternoon, as Liam sat beside Shadow on the porch, the dog rested his head on Liam's lap, his eyes half closed. In that moment, Liam realized that though Shadow was aging, their bond was timeless. They had both found a home in each other, a place where unconditional love could thrive forever. And as Shadow's breathing slowed, Liam whispered softly, "Thank you for everything, my friend." If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on a boy rescuing an unloved dog from a market? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.